The Lost Colony of Roanoke, America's oldest unsolved mystery. Full documentary overview. The Roanoke Colony, often called the Lost Colony, remains one of the greatest unsolved mysteries in American history. Founded in 1587 on Roanoke Island, off the coast of present-day North Carolina, it was England's first attempt at establishing a permanent settlement in the New World. But when supply ships returned in 1590, every colonist had vanished without a trace. What happened to the men, women, and children of Roanoke still fascinates historians, archaeologists, and mystery lovers worldwide. This was not merely a failed expedition. It was a complete disappearance. A community of over 100 men, women, and children vanished without a trace, leaving behind only a single cryptic clue. Their story serves as a stark reminder of the perils faced by those who dared to venture into the unknown wilderness of the New World. The late 16th century was an era of burgeoning European expansion. England, under the formidable reign of Queen Elizabeth I, sought to challenge Spain's dominance in the Americas. Sir Walter Raleigh, a charismatic courtier and adventurer, became a key figure in these ambitious colonial endeavors. Raleigh envisioned a permanent English settlement in North America, a strategic outpost to counter Spanish influence and exploit the continent's vast resources. His initial attempts, however, were fraught with difficulty and ultimately proved unsuccessful. The challenges of transatlantic travel, unfamiliar terrain, and hostile indigenous populations were immense. Raleigh's first expedition in 1584 explored the outer banks of present-day North Carolina. They returned with glowing reports of fertile lands and friendly natives, fueling enthusiasm for colonization. This initial reconnaissance led to the establishment of a military outpost on Roanoke Island in 1585. Led by Ralph Lane, this first colony was primarily a military venture. Its inhabitants struggled with food shortages and increasingly strained relations with the local Algonquian tribes. After a year of hardship and conflict, the surviving colonists abandoned the settlement, returning to England with Sir Francis Drake in 1586. Undeterred by previous failures, Raleigh organized a new expedition in 1587. This time, the focus was on establishing a true agricultural colony, complete with families and a civilian governor. John White, an artist and veteran of the 1585 voyage, was appointed to lead this ambitious undertaking. 117 colonists, including White's pregnant daughter Eleanor Dare and her husband Ananias, set sail for the Chesapeake Bay. However, their pilot, Simon Fernandez, inexplicably diverted them back to Roanoke Island. There they found the remnants of the earlier fort, but no sign of the previous garrison. The colonists quickly set about rebuilding and establishing their new lives. On August 18, 1587, Eleanor Dare gave birth to Virginia Dare, the first English child born in the Americas. This event symbolized hope and the promise of a new beginning for the fledgling settlement. Despite the initial optimism, the colony soon faced familiar challenges. Supplies dwindled, and relations with some native tribes remained tense. Recognizing the urgent need for provisions and reinforcements, the colonists implored Governor White to return to England. He reluctantly agreed, leaving his daughter, granddaughter, and the entire community behind. White promised to return swiftly, but fate intervened dramatically. England was on the brink of war with Spain, and the formidable Spanish Armada was preparing to invade. All available ships were commandeered for the defense of the realm, making any transatlantic voyage impossible. White was trapped in England, agonizing over the fate of his colony. It was not until 1590, 3 long years later, that John White finally managed to secure passage back to Roanoke. His heart must have been heavy with a mixture of hope and dread as his ship approached the familiar shores. What he found, however, was far more perplexing than any disaster he might have imagined. The settlement was deserted. The houses had been dismantled and a palisade had been erected around the former village site. There were no signs of struggle, no bodies, no indication of a hasty departure. It was as if the entire community had simply vanished into thin air. Etched into a post of the palisade, White discovered a single chilling word, CROATOAN. On a nearby tree, the letters CROW were carved. Before his departure, White had instructed the colonists that if they were forced to leave, they should carve the name of their destination. If they were in distress, they were to add a Maltese cross above the carving. There was no cross. The CROATOAN carving immediately suggested a possible destination, CROATOAN Island, now known as Hatteras Island, home to a friendly native tribe. White attempted to sail there, but severe storms prevented his ship from reaching the island. He was forced to return to England, never to see his family or the lost colonists again. Over the centuries, numerous theories have emerged to explain the disappearance. One prominent idea is that the colonists assimilated with the local Native American tribes, particularly the CROATOAN people. Historical accounts and later archaeological findings suggest some intermingling may have occurred. The Lumbee tribe of North Carolina, for instance, has oral traditions and genetic markers that some believe link them to the lost colonists. Another theory posits that the colonists were massacred by hostile tribes, perhaps the Powhatan Confederacy, who were known to be wary of English expansion. However, the lack of bodies or signs of a violent struggle at the site makes this less likely as the sole explanation. Disease, starvation, or a combination of environmental factors could also have played a role, forcing the settlers to disperse or perish. Some even suggest a Spanish intervention, though historical evidence for this is scarce. The Spanish were certainly aware of English attempts at colonization and viewed them as a threat, but no records indicate a direct attack on Roanoke. The truth likely lies in a complex interplay of these factors, a desperate struggle for survival in a harsh and unfamiliar land. A mystery of the Roanoke Colony continues to captivate historians, researchers, and the general public alike. It is a powerful narrative of human endeavor, resilience, and the unforgiving nature of the frontier. Unanswered questions fuel endless debate and inspire ongoing archaeological investigations. The story of the lost colony has transcended historical fact to become a foundational myth in American culture. It embodies the fears and uncertainties of early colonial life, a stark reminder that even the most ambitious dreams can be swallowed by the wilderness. The fate of those 117 souls remains a poignant testament to the enduring power of the unknown. Despite centuries of research, the definitive answer to what happened at Roanoke remains elusive. The CROATOAN clue offers a tantalizing hint, but the full story is lost to time. Perhaps the colonists did integrate, their descendants living on in the rich tapestry of Native American heritage. Perhaps they succumbed to the harsh realities of the New World. Whether you're fascinated by historical mysteries, early American history, or unexplained disappearances, this video gives a clear, engaging breakdown of everything we know and don't know about Roanoke. The story of the lost colony continues to inspire books, films, and television series, capturing our imagination more than 400 years later.